headfirst into the beautiful chaos of motherhood and dishes on the stuff we wish we would have known and nobody tells you. This is your tribe for informed consent and unfiltered real talk. I'm Leah, your scrunchy nurse riding the Hot Mess Express, and I'm your girl here to remind you that it's fine, we're fine, and everything's fine.
I'm Alyssa, a crunchy mom who's all about organic living. I'm organized, opinionated, and your designated wingwoman in any parenting bar fight.
And I'm Tori, your ride or die mom of 3 who will absolutely hold your baby in your secret.
This week on Momtroversial, we are doing a brief catching up with us. So that way, as you guys are listening, you guys can get to know us a little bit better, what's going on in our lives, where we are coming from. And also, we've had a ton of freaking changes in our life in the last couple months. Like, Alyssa abandoned us and moved across the world back to the United States of America. And Tori and I are still in the wonderful peninsula of South Korea. And so we're just going to catch up with each other too and chat about all of the new things that are going on and just allow you guys to get another look into our lives and where we're sharing on this Momtroversial journey. So to get started with that, what is one recent parenting win that you guys have had that have felt like a big deal? And what did it teach you about yourself as a mom?
Good question. Tori, what about you?
Let's see. I don't know that I have anything super specific. I've been on the same harp about boundaries for I feel like all of my kids' entire lives. And this last week, especially, Johnny's started saying, "Okay, mom, I'll listen to you. I'll respect your boundaries." And I'm just like, I don't know how long it's gonna last. I don't know if it's a phase. I don't know if it's like a one time or a 2, 3 time deal, but like I just felt really good about that because I'm like, oh man, not only is someone listening, and he didn't just say it, he did it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
little things like um I don't know. He was sitting in my lap and he kept like nosing me but also sticking his tongue out. And I was like, yeah, I don't like that. Please stop. And he was just like, okay, mom, I'll stop. I'll respect your boundaries. And I was just like, thanks, buddy. And he actually did stop. And so I was just like, heck to the freaking yeah, dude. Like, and I've
That's
told like
funny.
everyone else, any of my other kids, all my other kids can just be like exactly like that for the rest of time, which is total pipe dream. That'd be great.
That's so funny. I
Mhm.
am still working on boundaries with Decky, which he'll be, for those of you who are listening, I have Ella, who just turned 1 in August, and then Declan will be 3 in November. They're 21 months apart. And that's something like I'm working on with him too. Like if somebody says no, no means no. That means you need to back off, right? And you need to give space. You need to ask first. You can't just go up and his big thing is wrestling. And homie always likes to go and like tackle other kids and just start wrestling because he's just all boy. And I'm like, bro, like we can't do that unless we're invited to do that. Um, so I'll let you know when we get there. I love a good parenting boundary win, especially when they're all over you and you're
Mhm.
Mhm.
like, I'm good. I need some space. And
Totally.
they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, you're giving me space. I'm not touched
Yeah,
out.
like, you're just gonna stop doing that? Like, just like that? Like, oh my gosh. I didn't
How
really know
many
you.
sanity points did you
Yeah.
get back?
So many, I think, but then promptly lost them from something else. So,
Oh, yeah.
short-lived. I mean, I think it's developmentally, like, Johnny's almost 5, and so I guess for everyone listening, I have a 6.5-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 18-month-old, and, so obviously there's a whole spectrum. That's 3 different stages of development right there. So
Mm.
everybody's always in a different place at a different time, and so you gotta just take the wins where you get them.
Dude, I
So
feel like
fair.
that's just like my life mantra is you just gotta take the wins where you get them
Yeah.
because it's so easy. Like I've been so
Yeah.
tired. Tori and I were just talking about this before you hopped on, Alyssa. I have been in this age for some reason the last month. I kid you not, I've been waking up like every hour at night. I'll go to bed between 9 and 10, and
Oh,
then I wake up at 11, 12:30, 1, 2:30, or 3, and then 5, and then ultimately get up at 6-ish to work out. And I don't know why. It hasn't been Ella. She's sleeping through the night for the most part. Like, it's just been me. I am wide awake laying in bed and don't know why. So I have been so tired. I was putting the kids down for a nap today. So they're still sharing a room and it's going well. Like,
Yay.
I don't really feel like we've had a whole ton of issues. If one of them wakes up early from the nap or wakes up early in the morning or whatever, for the most part, the other one is fine. Or they're both okay, just chilling, which has been really nice. So it's just made it easier for me because now everything is in one space. But it's so funny. Today I had a list of all of these things on my to-do during nap time. And I got home from PWOC, which for those of you guys who are listening, it's called Protestant Women on the Chapel. And it's a organization or a group that a lot of military bases, especially overseas ones, for sure will do for you to just have fellowship and time together. And I got home from PWC. Ella was already asleep, so I put Declan down. And then I was getting ready to transfer Ella, and I was going to nurse her and put her down. And then I freaking zonked in the recliner holding this chick for an hour. I woke up at 1:37. It was like, oh my gosh. Literally, that's been me. I'm like, what day is it? Where am I? Where am I? I wake up and I'm thinking about when I get to go back to sleep. It's real pitiful. Like, it's been really pitiful. That's why I'm like, it's 3:00 too late to have another cup of coffee. Could I
No.
get away with drinking an Alani Nu right now? And then in the back of my, I don't, because in the back of my head, I tell myself I'll sleep better tonight if I don't. And then I don't sleep better. And then it's just like perpetual.
That
It's just
stinks.
perpetual. It's been awful. So I'm just so tired. But it's okay. We're here. And we're doing the thing. On the bright side, I feel like we have been having I've had really big parenting fails this week. So I'm going to share a parenting fail. I'm going to get so judged for this, but it's okay. But it comes with a parenting win on the other side. Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
We love a good
So
comeback
That's how
story.
they
Let's
all
hear it.
start.
okay, great. But back to my story. I was getting kids loaded up in the double bob to go on a walk in the morning because I had no cart. So this was my getting out of the house. We go on like a mile-long walk to the gas station. And I put Ella in the stroller and I didn't buckle her in right away. And I had turned around to say something to Declan. And in the span of like 3 seconds of me turning around to say something to Declan, Ella proceeds to throw herself out of the stroller
Oof.
and straight onto
Solid
the
girl.
sidewalk. Smacks her little forehead. The thud could be heard from around the world. And I was like, oh no, like parenting fail. Like, it's just so hard sometimes with littles, right? Because Declan can run off. And I mean, he's already been in predicaments once. I don't want to do that again. So like I could try to buckle her in real quick and then turn to him, or it's like, it's one of those things where it's almost like you're choosing between your kids. Like turn to him to get out of the road to then buckle her in. So in that span, when I had chose him, she yeeted out of the stroller this week. It was really sad, really pitiful. But the win in it was I told Declan, he heard her crying. He said, oh no, like Sissy's sad. Sissy got hurt. And I said, yeah, Sissy got a boo-boo. Declan, mommy needs to like take care of Ella right now. I need you to come with me inside, play with your toys while I take care of your sister. And he said, okay. And he came inside and then he proceeds to go through the list of all of the things that we usually do for him when he gets hurt. He said, Sissy, you need boo-boo spray? Let me go get you boo-boo spray, Sissy. Sissy, you need medicine? Sissy, let me go get you medicine. Sissy, you need pop-pop? Let me go get you pop-pop. Sissy, you want juice? Oh, Sissy, you want my Lightning McQueen? And he was going through all of these things, like running back and forth to try to get to his sister to make her feel better. And that felt like a huge win parenting-wise for us because, I don't know, it's just like the fact that he's watching what we do and paying attention to what we do for him with the just trying to firm and being there, and that he wasn't even upset in the moment that all of my attention was on her. he was just over here thinking, what can I do to help my sister and make her feel better? And so
That's the
Yeah.
fruit, though. That's the fruit of
Yeah.
your labor right there. Like, way
Yeah.
to go.
know.
That's such a huge
It-
thing. And also, I have to say, real talk, if anyone's judging you for that, they do not have
Phew. Yeah.
Period.
Amen. Amen.
That is such a at
Yeah.
any point of the day with little children, it's like ping, 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 ping. You're a pinball. So if
Yep.
you're in like a situation, like you do have to choose. Like, you know, if
Or
your
they only
attention
have
gets
one pin.
immediately right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all of their totally.
Yeah.
Or they're
Yeah.
so phased out of little kidness that they forgot.
Mhm.
So
Gosh,
no.
I feel like kept your kids alive today. You know, it's a win.
Your son has
Yeah.
a massive amount of empathy. That's a
Boom.
huge win.
Done.
He's so sweet. He's been so
Go
cute
Ducky.
lately.
Go Ducky.
Love
And
it.
go you.
Okay, I figured out a win.
What's your
Don't
win?
feel bad. Don't feel bad. This one actually, like, more or less has nothing to do with me, other than that I've encouraged it. I don't know where it came from. But the other day, it was a couple weeks ago, KK, you know, when they don't like they, demand something, I'm like, okay, like try again is usually what I say. Try again.
Mm.
And usually, they'll just say please. But the other day, KK goes, may I have apples, please? And I was like, sure. Sure. Cool. That's very nice asking. And so now she realizes it's cute though. And she goes, may I have?
So she's optimizing on it.
So yeah, so accidentally
Everyone
my
wins.
kids, when I say try again, don't worry, they still demand things of me, but when I say try again, they go, may I have? Or sometimes Kiki will correct herself. Like I'll whip over and look at her and she goes, may I? So yeah, so my kids turn polite. I don't know how it happened though.
So-
Like it's not my fault or my doing.
I feel like
I'll take it.
Declan's a hit or miss with he'll say please or thank you. No, his thing is, oh my gosh, it kills me. He doesn't say thank you. He says you're welcome. He says, Mommy, can I have some juice? I'll be like, yeah, baby, here's your juice, whatever. And I'll say, you're welcome. Mommy, can you give me that? I'm like, yeah, here you go. He says, you're welcome. And I'm like, because he hears me say you're welcome every time.
Yeah.
He asks me for something or whatever. I say, you're welcome, you're welcome. And so that kills me. So he has manners, but they're like, he doesn't use his manners right. You're welcome.
Use reverse
You're
manners.
welcome.
It's the intent.
It's the thought that counts.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's what
And
I'm
it's like
saying.
not something you want to fix. Like that's cute.
I know.
It's
Oh.
adorable.
So for our listeners who don't know her, we have this friend. Her name's Hattie Jean. Alyssa introduced me to her. And the
Love her.
cutest thing I have heard Declan say in his toddler voice, he has two things lately. He says, goodbye, Hattie Jean. Oh, freaking cute the way he says it. We will intentionally have him say bye, Hattie Jean, even if she's not here. Just because Travis got home from work today and then he was doing something or whatever and he said, hey Decky, can you say bye to Hattie Jean? And then Decky said, bye Hattie Jean, and I recorded it and sent it to her. But then his other thing is he says, oh my gosh, this one thing better. I say oh my gosh in response to things all the time. And so his thing lately has been, oh my gosh. It's just out of nowhere. Oh my gosh.
So funny.
He's so cute.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I want to know, Alyssa, a little bit of an update of your life and what's going on with your life back in the USA. And also Ryan's gone, right? So you're still parenting. Let's talk about how that's been going for you as well.
Yeah, so we're in Virginia right now. We'll be in Virginia for like 4 months or so, give or take. Like when it's all said and done, we'll leave right after Thanksgiving. And we're in our own house, essentially. A family friend had a furnished house that just wasn't being used. And so they were like, you can stay there. And it was such a blessing because I could not do 4 months like living in out of a room essentially at one of our parents' house. That would have just been so difficult. But yeah, so we're living here. It's very nice to like have my own house. Let's see. What?
And in the towers, for those who are listening,
Yeah.
she was in like basically a family size apartment. How many bedrooms is it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 bedrooms?
3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It was pretty big. It was probably like a 1,500 square foot apartment, but it was an apartment. So now we live on 5 acres in like an estate. Okay. It's absolutely ridiculous. We don't belong here, but it's beautiful and wonderful. It's like everything in my dreams. But yeah, so that's where we are. I'm kind of solo parenting, but not really because my parents miss their grandchildren and they live like out in the boonies right now, but my dad still has to commute into DC for work and it's like a 2.5 hour commute, I think, one way. And so this is a little closer. And he like the first week, Ryan left, my parents were like, do you want us to help? Like we could come. And I was like, yeah. And then the next week they came again. The next week they came again. And it's been really great, because like I'm used to during the day, they still both go to work, which I have a great Momtroversial moment for that. But that's normal, like that's my normal routine is that Ryan goes to work. So it's just nice to have someone at night to talk to and to help with dishes and getting the girls in bed and that kind of thing. And the girls love it. They have a dog, Jag, and they love him being around. I love him being around because, again, it's like an estate on 5 acres. Like everything creaks. It's an old house. I like literally made Ryan go up in the attic to make sure there was no one living there before he left because you never know.
Okay.
It was not being lived in before we got here. So like for a while. I was like, what if someone was living up there? That would be terrible to find out.
Honestly, that's me every time Travis goes out of town at night.
Yeah.
I'm like, did someone sneak in the house while we were gone? I got to go check all the bedrooms, check all the closet.
I'm dead. I'm dead. But yeah, so that's been great. We've just kind of been trying to get in a routine here, but it's always like as much as this does feel like our house, it's still not, it's just not our final destination. Arizona's our final destination. However, we found out that Arizona might not be a so final destination, and we're waiting to hear on that. We'll hopefully hear sometime in October, but Ryan's bosses in Arizona were like, wait, you don't have your master's? You need your master's. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to get it in a few years after this duty station. They were like, no. You need your master's. You need to apply for fall 2026, which would have us moving in summer 2026. If he gets it. I know. It's really great because we put Florida as our number 1 because he really wants to go to University of Florida. His family's really attached to that school. His grandpa coached swim there. His dad went. Big Gators fans over here. It's not
Florida State fans over here. Go to.
Your life is a little bit better than ours right now. Ryan's like, I don't even know if I want to pay for TV to watch this football team.
Dude, we're living our best freaking life over here in the Carter household. I called my dad up. I went to the FSU Alabama game when I was in college in 2017. I drove to Atlanta by myself to go to that game. And we got our butts freaking whooped. It was so sad. And then we woke up on Sunday before church when we were playing Alabama and we turned it on. And there was 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And we saw the score charts and I was like, is this real right now? Are we back? And then we proceeded to spend the rest of that afternoon talking about our Thanksgiving plans with you and Ryan. For our now of FSU versus UF and how much smack I'm going to talk to Ryan and how stoked I am about all the smack that I'm going to talk. That Ryan, knowing him, is just going to stonewall me. He's going to stonewall me
100,000%.
until he comes up with something that is so good That's like such a good like quit back that it's gonna leave me speechless, but it's gonna be great. I love every freaking second of it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we're just waiting to hear about that. We had to put we had to apply for the Army funding essentially because there's only so many slots for the Army funding. So we had to put 5 options. We put University of Florida, UNC. It's not Durham, I don't think, but it's right around there. University of Alabama at Birmingham and University of Arizona in Tucson and the Air Force Institute of Technology because we had to have one like no cost school, like Army school or military school. So, and then he had to go find like, okay, well, who has good data science degrees that like I actually want to get and that kind of thing. So that's what we came up with. But hopefully we get Florida. We really, really want Florida. If he gets it at all, like we don't really know how that'll work, but they like according to like the ORSA timeline, we should find out October-ish, which is crazy to find out where we're going after our next duty station before we get to our next duty station. Like, when does that ever happen in the history of the Army?
So backwards.
This is so military though. I feel like this is
Yeah.
such a military scenario that other military spouses are like, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
we just
you're
don't even know what's
displaced.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who needs stability? Not me. Fine. But yeah, that's what's been going on with us.
So is stability even real? Like in the Army?
No.
No.
It's not.
I'm over here thinking about our girl who loves her routines. Like out of the 3 of us, the most routine oriented person and organized and like stability needing human being is Alyssa.
Mhm.
And she's over here.
Fine.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Luckily, the only thing I like more than routines is buying and moving into a new house and just having a new house to organize. So there's a plus there.
There she is.
And if you bought a new car, tell everyone
I
about
did.
your mom car because you've had it now for a little while. I need an update.
Yes.
Tell them.
And so what's even more bougie about it is that like I got it like the day before my birthday. So like it's kind of my birthday car, which just feels like so spoiled to say. It just
Got a
happened
car
that
for your
way.
birthday.
But yeah.
Say
What
what
can I
it
say?
is, okay?
He spoils me. He did tell me because I was like, I don't know what I want. Like, this is the more economical option because we were between the Sienna and the Carnival. I'm full on the minivan train. I love function and minivans are functional. And I was like, I don't know what you want. And he goes, do you remember what I told you when we got married? And I was like, what? Like, you know, it's a lot of things. He goes, it was really sweet, honestly. He goes, I will do my best to give you whatever you want. I was like, perfect. I want the Carnival. It is really sweet. And he has done that. But yeah, so we got the Carnival. I was a little bit worried because Kia's reliability isn't the most fantastic. So we did get it's like a 10-year unlimited mile warranty on like it's basically bumper to bumper. It covers there was one for electronics and one for like general maintenance. Not general maintenance because it's a warranty, so it's not like it pays for oil changes and stuff, but you know, it covers stuff
Like
breaking.
mechanical.
Yeah. So we did get that, which costs a little more, but I got them down to essentially $5,000 under MSRP, like out the door, like including taxes and everything. So I felt pretty good about it.
Yeah, you did. If anyone can do it, it's
listen, I love a good negotiation. I'm like fired up and Ryan's like, this is exhausting. I'm like, no, we won. We won. But yeah, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's wonderful. I did just blow out a tire. It wasn't my fault though. We were driving down this road in Virginia that it's a T intersection at the like T is a fire station and we're driving down this road and we just hear like it sounded like we went over spikes. Okay. I've never gone over spikes, but I imagine that's how it sounds like. was like, oh shoot. The only other time I'd ever gotten a flat tire was when I was talking to this guy before Ryan. We weren't even dating, but we were talking, and my dad wouldn't answer his phone. Like, my dad did teach me how to change a tire before he let me get my license, but like, I'm not changing a tire. Like, I don't change tires. And so he changed it for me. He and this random cop on the side of the road. And then so we got this one, and my mom was with me. And we were like, okay, there's the fire station. We just got to go in and like kind of look pathetic. It won't be hard. And this brand new car, like, I don't even know how to get the spare out. I wasn't even sure where the spare was. Like, it was under the passenger side, but like it was a weird way to get it out, or maybe it's the normal way of the car, and I just don't know that, but it felt weird. So the firefighters were helping us change the tire, and then they got a call, and then the lieutenant comes out and he's helping us finish it up, and then we have to go like get the tire changed. But that wasn't really the car's fault. It was a tractor trailer, or maybe just a truck tire weight. It was like probably this big, and it was heavy.
Wow.
And it was all the way inside of my tire. They only found it when they took the tire off. It like shredded my tire.
Oh my God.
So not my fault, not the car's fault. The car's amazing. I'm really obsessed with it, honestly. We rented the Sienna when we first got here because Sienna was a hybrid. It was a little more expensive, but I was like, a hybrid. I didn't trust the Carnival hybrid. I think the engine drivetrain, whatever you want to call it, it's undersized for the car, and it's already had a ton of issues. So I didn't want that. So we tried the Sienna, and the Sienna was just so meh. It felt cheap. It didn't work very well. The third row seats did not click in when you like folded them down. They just kind of flopped around in the back. Like everything about it just seemed like Toyota was just riding on their reliability, high. People buy it just because it's Toyota and because it's a hybrid minivan, Um, the Android Auto didn't work very well. The storage didn't feel very functional to me. The seats, it's not that car seat friendly for a minivan, which is so stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, so then we went and we saw the Carnival, which I had driven my friend's Carnival, but she had a different trim than I wanted. So we went and saw the Carnival, and I was like, dude, there's like no comparison. The storage, the space, gas mileage also is no comparison, unfortunately. But it's so nice. I love it. I am obsessed. The features are amazing. It is a lot more tech to break, but you know what? That's why we got the warranty. I'm not usually a warranty girl, so it felt really weird to do it, but I was like, it felt good afterwards. Just gave me like the peace of mind that I didn't have buying a Kia, essentially. So yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's a 2025 EX. So it's like not even that high of a trim level. Yeah, I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
I don't know if I'm ever going to drive a brand new vehicle again in my life unless we become
I
super
honestly,
rich, because I don't want a car payment.
yeah, so we did not. I'm a firm believer in, if you can't afford to pay cash for the car, then you can't afford the car. I'm sure there's exceptions, but that is my personal rule. So we financed the car for about 20 days to get like a $6,000 rebate or something like that. So
Nice.
worth it. I think we paid $200 in interest.
How did you figure out how to do that crap? You were like the money master, like with.
Well, you just don't tell them what you're going to pay. If you're going to pay cash, or they'll ask, are you going to cash or finance? I'm like, well, not sure yet. Give me your best offer.
So this is gonna sound like such a dumb question, but a rebate,
Probably
that's
not.
money back because of financing it?
Yeah, because
No.
theoretically, if you're financing it, they're making a ton of money off interest for you right now, especially because interest rates are high. Like we still paid $200 of interest, and we didn't even like finance it for a full month. So they're gonna make more than that back over the life of the loan,
Okay.
unless you pay it off early. But
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they can't there is something you should always check to make sure there's no prepayment penalties, because sometimes there can be. But for us, there weren't. So it was fine. But yeah, we
And
went
she's
into it
pretty.
looking for used, but the Siennas, there weren't very many used Carnivals because it just kind of came out, and kind of same for the Sienna. And the Sienna, like, it cost more to buy a used one than a new one. It was ridiculous. Yeah, because we got such a good deal, it just made more sense to go new. So, and also I wanted the full warranties. I did not want to buy really a Kia used. I wanted the full warranties.
That's fair.
Yeah. So it all worked out, and I love it. Obsessed. KK just turned 2. That was great.
Oh my
She's so cute.
gosh! I forgot that her
Mhm.
birthday.
Mhm.
Wow.
She did.
How do you
She just
feel?
turned 2. Honestly, great. I discovered something about myself when KK was born, or maybe in a few months about after KK was born. With Reagan, I loved the baby stage. We just laid around and snuggled, and she slept, and then I slept. And, like, we just hung out. I did whatever I wanted because I was a stay-at-home mom. So, like, it was great. I loved Reagan as a baby. KK as a baby, I discovered that I am, in fact, like a toddler big kid mom. I prefer them. I was like, KK, can you grow up so we can have some freedom and do fun things? Please and thank you. Like, you know, because I'm such a stickler for naps, I wasn't gonna like jack that up for KK. So we were just like home so much more than like Reagan needed to be. And I love having older toddlers, I guess. And part of me is like, starting over, really? We're gonna do that. But not a pregnancy announcement.
You
But yeah,
better
I
when
love
you
it.
announce you're
I'm all about
pregnant
it.
to us. For those who don't know,
Oh,
Alyssa
it's gonna
does
be
want
an
to go over number
exclusive.
3 soon. I want it
Yeah.
to be. Here's what I want, and I will give you permission to delay telling me. I want you to cleverly announce it while we're filming. Like, I want
Oh,
us to be recording an
I second that.
episode, and you cleverly do it on
and then
here
5 minutes later, you're like, wait.
so we can together, like, live reactions, have it recorded
That'd be
together
fun.
time.
Yes.
That
Love
would be
that.
fun.
So
I'm
you
all
can
about it.
delay.
Podcast exclusive.
Yeah, you can wait till you're ready to tell the rest of the world to tell me. I'm giving you permission to do it here.
I'm honestly like, I tell people pretty early because, in my opinion, that's just more people praying for that baby.
Mm.
Um, and also, like, I think keep other people's secrets real well, but not my own. So, also, like, I look pregnant because I just look so like someone just beat me up. So it's hard not to. No.
That's so funny.
Oh yeah,
I
good time.
That's awesome. What you got? Did you guys do anything for KK's birthday?
We just did a little family party at my parents' property. It was really nice. My really good friend Carly, she was one of my bridesmaids. She has a baking business. If you're in Northern Virginia, it's called Not Just Frosting, and she makes delicious, wonderful treats. So she made us some Anna and Elsa cookies and some cupcakes. Hmm.
Yum.
Yeah.
That
Hmm.
sounds awesome. Especially
Yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice and low key, and like I love a good birthday party, but I was just like, even having our own space, like I just always feel unsettled when I'm not where I'm supposed to be, if that makes sense. Um, so I just could not handle anything else. So
Yeah, I feel that. So, Tori, you have started over the summer homeschooling Hannah, your
yeah.
oldest, for those who are listening who don't know. So, why don't you update us on how that's going with Hannah and homeschooling and that journey, and then anything else new that's been going on in your life?
Hmm.
So overall it's going pretty well. It's you know, I don't really know how to put this into words. It's something like when I was a younger mom, it wasn't something I ever wanted to do. I had that mindset like a lot of moms, and no shade if you have this. This isn't like a, "Oh, the new me couldn't possibly think that way." Like I everybody's different, right? I was like, "Oh, I can't wait till the kids go to school and then I'll have like me time back or like
Mhm.
I'll go back to
Mhm.
work, all these crazy ideas." They're crazy for me. I don't wanna go back to work. That's crazy
Amen.
for me. Um, but, I don't have a career that I really am passionate and love. So, I think if I did, then that would be different. But for me personally, I can't I don't at this point, I don't want to, and I don't have any plans to. But anyways, um, I I never really pictured myself doing it, but I got really convicted. I had kind of, like, been interested in it, but I was like, "I don't know," I didn't know what was right, she's always been in kind of an alternative school environment. She went to German forest school, and we lived in Germany,
So
and then
cool.
she went to it was awesome. It's as cool as it sounds. It was the absolute best, 12 out of 10 recommend. Um, and it was only €30 a month. It was just I can't say enough good things about that, but, they had school in the literal forest, you guys. The forest
That's
was
so
their
cool,
classroom. I
dude.
mean, you can't get better than
It's
that.
the way it
It was
should be. That's the way school should be.
it she was like my never got sick kid, and she still has a great immune system, but I accredit it completely to the forest school because she just really got such a great immune system living her life in all seasons out in the forest. Um,
Love it.
but then when we came here to Korea, she went to Korean school and, she was all in that immersed in the Korean cultural experience there, and, so I really wasn't sure what to do with her school. I had actually enrolled her at the elementary school on post, and then I got really, really convicted about homeschooling her and just kinda jumped off the deep end. I mean, I've been, like, looking at homeschool things for a long time, I've listened to podcasts, I've even read books in the last, like, year or 2 just out of curiosity, and I love to read, so it was, like, not a problem to just read a book real quick on homeschooling. Um, but it just seemed, like, magical to me, like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much freedom," and, like, you can
Mhm.
teach to their interests, and
Yeah.
school d you don't have to be away from them from the whole entire day, and I don't know, everything about that just seemed to really appeal to me. And also, I think Hannah, she's not I wouldn't consider her to be, like, neurodivergent or anything like that, but she's just very, like, free-spirited, and I feel like traditional school would not do her any favors in that department, and
I
that
feel
was
Mhm.
like
really
it's
where
so
my conviction.
suffocating.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone
Never
I
done
think
it,
some
but
kids' personality yeah, homeschool kid over here, just kidding.
Freaking weirdo.
Um, I feel like in some ways, I thrived in school as a girl, um, but I think in other ways, it kind of, like, took away that free-spiritedness that I
Mhm.
had, and,
Mhm.
I see that in Hannah, and I don't want it to go away. I think that just makes you so much that sets you apart, and I just think for her, it was the best thing to not put her in. But, she has a hard time motivating. She does not like book work, like, at all. So unless it's math, she really likes math. Um, but I
Right?
don't know. I've been trying to find our groove with it. I think some days we're, like, super stellar and we get everything on the list done and we're, like, high-fiving each other, like, "What do we do next?" And other days I'm like, "Bro," like 45 minutes, I've been trying to get her to sit down and do, like, a 10-minute activity and, like, "Come on, like, you really need to learn this, like, we need to have something to show for our time here." And I just don't know, like, where I know there's gotta be a balance with it, obviously, but, um, I don't know, like, I feel guilty when we don't get enough done and,
Mhm.
enough, like but I don't know. I don't know how to match it. Like, I don't know where the standard should be, like, because I have a very in my mind, the only structure I know is, like, public school, and,
Mhm.
um, or just like traditional school. Like,
Mhm.
you learn the subject, you listen to your teacher, you do an activity at your school, it's very structured, right? I think when I first started, we had like no structure. We weren't learning anything. So implemented a little bit of structure. I got this $10 homeschool planner on Amazon and it's been perfect. It's helped keep me accountable. We don't hit it every time. So I only do 1 week at a time in the planner because we don't always
Yeah.
get to everything in the week, but I don't know, I really love it. I love her being home. I actually plan to homeschool John. So the Korean school year ends in the end of February and then they restart again in March. And I haven't talked to David yet, but I would like to just keep him home after that and start homeschooling him because he'll be 5 in December. And, technically he wouldn't be able to go to like a public school until next fall, like a year from now. But I'm
Yeah.
like, he's interested in his letters and um I don't know, there's no reason not to. I think because he's showing interest and it'll be a natural like transition for him because they graduate, they go through a whole graduation ceremony. It's really cute.
Oh,
And then he just graduates and comes to homeschool. And I think he's very big on transitions. Like if he gets off his schedule, he gets really out of whack and he has a hard time kind of readjusting and reacclimating to things. So I think that would be a really good time for him mentally and emotionally to kind of make that change versus just like, oh, we're going to homeschool now and just like pulling him out.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, overall it's going really well. And I think now that we're getting into like fall and like kind of the traditional school year time frame, I think it'll get a lot more streamlined for us because, we're over the summer, we're fighting for pool or beach or
Yeah.
outside time, doing like fun summery things. And so, I think it'll just be better and easier to kind of get our groove and get everything done.
Love that.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged about not having a lot too, though. It's because homeschooling is so much more efficient. There's just not that much. I don't think I had a 5-day school week until I was in high school, except for like, math. I did 5 days a week. But like mostly I had a 4-day school week
Okay.
because that's all I needed to do. Mostly I was always finished because you're not listening for hours on end and then doing homework.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I was always, 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 always finished with my school for the day before kids were out of school, unless they had an
Mhm.
early release or something. Like it's super normal because everything is just so much more streamlined and efficient, and you're actually learning and applying, and then you're done instead of like
Yeah.
learning and then waiting and then applying.
Mhm. I think
So
where
don't be
I'm
discouraged by
struggling
that.
with it is like the timing of everything, like trying to like the right time of day to fit it in because
Mm-hmm.
I've been waiting until nap time so I can give her all my attention because I have an 18-month-old who is very busy
Yeah.
and requires a lot of
Mm-hmm.
attention. Um, but, then it's like takes up our whole free period of time. That's usually when I do something for myself, when I clean, when I
Mm-hmm.
prep
Yeah.
dinner, when I do a bunch of other things. And so I've been feeling like that's not right, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm still finagling it around, but we've been really loving the Good and the Beautiful homeschool program. We're using the language arts slash reading. And then I just went to this place next to Big Carrot, which for those listening and have no idea what that is, it's like this little micro international natural food store here in Korea across from 292 Bakery. If you know, you know. And there's this print shop. So Good and the Beautiful, homeschool, they give you or curriculum company, they give you the PDF version of their curriculum for free if you want it. So I downloaded it, I took it, I sent the file to the print shop and he print and bound it for me for 30,000 won, which is about
That's
$23.
insane.
And,
That's
we
awesome.
had most of the manipulatives that it comes with, like the little 10-gram things and like dice
Mhm.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We have most of that already. So I was like, I think we could get away with this. And so I'm actually going to do the same thing when Johnny because we already have all the books and all of the reading booster and all that. So when he starts, I'm just gonna get him a new like actual book printed, and then we'll go through that with him too. So I'm super excited. We're really loving that. It's a great program. I think it's been really effortless. Hannah started reading within like a week of starting the program. So
That's
um
awesome.
it's really
Nice.
straightforward, and it's fun and it's pretty. I know that shouldn't matter, but it does.
Oh, it
It's
does.
pretty and
It does.
so yeah, I don't know that there's really anything else new. I mean, life's been a little stressful with David's newest job. He's currently in command. Um, but such is life, you know?
Can you,
You
for
gotta
people who are not Army, what does being in command entail for your husband's job?
So he's like a manager of
Babysitter.
so yeah, he is currently a brigade company commander for the 2 Cab, which is the 2nd Combat Aviation Brigade here on Camp Humphreys. And so he manages like 200 plus people, has to make sure that they get their dental things done, and he has to sign their leave. And then he's going to make sure it all runs smoothly and that their equipment is good. And he's got to manage any personnel issues. Um, and like a million other things because you're just busy when you're in the Army,
Mm.
period. And then you add in all the extra things, and then you add in, I don't know, you just keep adding in because that's apparently what you do in the Army.
Because the Army owns
Just
people. So,
yeah,
like,
it's
you're not just responsible for them at work. They get a DUI, you're picking them up, like all this crap. So it's
yeah,
just you're managing people's lives at home and at work pretty much. They have a domestic
yeah,
dispute. That's not between them and the cops. That's between you, them, and the cops. It's
yeah. I
just
think
something
David got
else.
4 or 5 phone calls just one day this weekend, and like
Yeah.
so he spent like 3 hours managing stuff on his day off because that's just the job. So, he works pretty late hours, and um so yeah, I don't know. It's been I'm used to him working long hours, and he's been in pretty rough and tough units, throughout his military career. And so I wouldn't say that this is new for me, but I think it's new for this family dynamic that we have, having 3 kids and living overseas. And it's
Yeah.
not the hardest. I feel like the hardest was when we were in Germany, but
Mm.
it's still hard. And but again, such is life, and such is military life. Military life is just it's just hard,
Yeah.
but I'm grateful for my people and to be able to talk about it. And yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I also, shameless plug, Raising Wildflowers has a homeschool curriculum, play-based.
Oh, does he
Dude,
really?
I have
Yeah.
been, since I've been on social media, I've been like watching her stories because we follow her on that thing. And I need to follow her on my personal one because every time she posts something, I'm like, Queen. Yes. Say it
I
louder.
know. And it's so her curriculum too is play-based. So instead of the traditional just sit down and kind of
Mm.
like do the work of the lessons, it's play because that's how kids learn best. And so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can even just go see some of the stuff. She has a highlight her page of
I'm gonna
homeschool.
check
And
that
it's just
out. I love that.
some of the things she does, like she takes her kids side. She has 4 kids now, 2 older boys, a toddler, and then a newborn. And when they struggle focusing, like she takes them outside. And
Yep.
then she'll
Nice.
like start doing some of these things where it's like makes them be active, like where they're moving, but then they're also learning because something I about the research, like their brains take in information better and they can think
Love
more
that.
clearly when it's incredible. I'm not there yet. I would love to homeschool our kids, and that will be one of the resources I use because I've used her in the other areas like of my children's childhood already, and it's been so life changing. But
Mm.
shameless plug, she has homeschool based curriculum. So, and I
I gotta
think
check it out.
she has like a toddler one, like a preschool one, and then she has like
Nice.
ages 6 to 12 or something like that as
I
well.
would love to see how her program differs from this other program that I got, it was called the early years, which is like preschool basically, but it's called Blossom and Root. It is It's a secular curriculum.
Mhm.
However, it's something you could absolutely add a Bible lesson to without an issue.
Mhm.
But I loved it was very, like, almost like Charlotte Mason-y, where you're adding it's, like, heavily focused on, like, arts, music, nature. I love it. I really, really love it. I actually still currently have it, and I'll probably do that for Charlie because I felt like it was so niched for little brains. I think it's wonderful. I haven't seen anything past their kindergarten curriculum, but I would love to kind of, like I that's, like, one kinda cool thing about homeschool is I feel like you can pick and choose and kinda cross over and do,
Yeah.
like, all these
Yeah.
different things, um,
Yeah.
and just make it like a little hodgepodge, like, buffet, what works for you. I
Yeah.
just think that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. I agree. And another I was listening to 1,000 Hours Outside the other day, and she had on this gal, I'll have to send you her profile. Her name's Raven Kramer, and she was talking about unschooling.
Oh, I've
So
heard
Mhm.
it's this new homeschooling thing, but where it's child-led learning,
Mm,
where your children are choosing what and how to learn. I just heard about it, thought it sounded amazing. And she has stuff about it too. So your kids are still learning, right? They're still learning the information they need to know, but she does a lot of games, is one thing she
mm,
talked about with her kids. So, for example, with math, playing dice games, you learn how
yeah,
to add
Mhm.
and subtract, right? And you can learn numbers like that. For fractions, baking. And so
Yep.
it's a lot of child-led things rather than necessarily doing this set types of lessons as well. So that's another I'll send you her profile too. But if
I think
that's just
that concept is super cool. When I first
me
heard
too.
unschooling, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, "So you just, like, don't do anything? Like, what is this?"
I
But I had someone explain it to me. They're like, "Okay, let's say my kid wants to learn about dinosaurs. Then we'll do, a unit on dinosaur history, fossils. We can bake a dinosaur-shaped cake. We can have them write a paper on their favorite dinosaur and
Mhm.
or a history of a certain period of time that involved the dinosaurs, or like they can make a clay dinosaur model, dinosaur math, like that, and just it's basically like all the things that you're actually learning, but it's dinosaur themed. And then so it like I was like that conceptualized it for me so
Yeah.
well because I was like, okay, that
To
when
be
you hear the unschool, you're like, okay, like what
yeah.
is
same.
does
To be
not seem
honest,
like
to me though, that just sounds like homeschooling. Like, so
I
I don't
think
know.
it's
I feel like it's
because
essentially a new name for it, or maybe it's just I don't know, but that just feels like we totally like got all niche like that when I was a kid based on what we were
so
doing.
valuable. It's
Yeah.
I feel
valuable.
like so many people who I've talked to, because I've talked to so many people lately about homeschooling, especially in like us living in Korea.
Mm,
And a lot of people I know are trying to homeschool as if their kids are going to regular school.
Yeah, you
Right.
can't
So,
do that.
like, trying to sit down and do lessons and go through
mhm,
language arts and then reading and then math and science, but they're at home doing it. And then we're talking about how their kids are struggling focusing and struggling with attention and struggling with motivation to do it. Well, I mean, I would struggle if you wanted me to work at home too when I'm used to playing at home, right? I'm used to
yeah,
home being my rest. And then now you're wanting me to basically take school and do it at home, right? Because at least at school, even though there are still focus issues, right? And that's like a whole nother
mhm,
conversation. It's another environment. So like they get trained and wired of this is what we do in this place versus at
mhm,
Yeah.
home, you're trained and wired like this is where I rest, this is where I recover, this is where I play. But now you're wanting me to sit down and do it like this. So I think that's why the unschooling
mhm,
probably came up because it is more of a play based idea or a kid led idea. But they felt
mhm.
like they needed to do a different name because a lot of people, when they think homeschool, they just think school.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many
Yeah,
different
that's not
types
really
of
what it
schooling
is.
and education. I feel like a few years ago, my eyes really started to open to that. Like when I first discovered that Blossom and Root um, curriculum, I was like, oh, there's classical education, there's Charlotte
Mhm.
Mason, there's like all these different, I mean, there Montessori, Waldorf. I mean, there's so many different styles of education, and like they all have kind of this different way that they approach learning. And I think that that is so amazing because every kid learns so differently. So to be able to
Mhm.
craft a program for your child as an individual, and like to be
Yeah.
able to just, if unschool works for them, or if classical works for another kid, or, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like I think it's so amazing because teachers at public or private, traditional send your kid to school can't be expected to cater the learning to your one child when they've got
Mhm.
20, 30 kids to teach.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them. My best friend used to be an elementary school teacher. And with the ratio of kids to teachers these days, I think Des had like 12 ESE kids,
Wow.
which require special education plans and require her to do things differently. And then she also still had like 14 regular kids. She had like 26 kids in her class. She taught third grade.
It's crazy.
12 of them were ESE, where she had to do alternative learning plans for them. But then she still had all of these, testing regular, whatever. Like, and so even for teachers, like, it's freaking hard for them. And like, yeah, there's
Yeah.
so much failure in the education system.
Yeah.
But that's a podcast for another time.
That's a whole nother
Uh,
episode.
maybe two.
You never know.
Yeah, right. So before we finish our catching up, we are going to go into the moments that make us laugh, the moments that make us cry, and the moments that just make us say, yep, that's mom life, and share our controversial moments. I have two moments that I want to share. That one's from last week and one's from this week. The first one is from yesterday. So Declan is in his Y phase. We ask why
Love
and
it.
everything. Yeah, I know. It's really makes me like process through. And I've struggled with not saying because I said so, because I've wanted to say because I've said so a lot because I'm just annoyed with it, but not because
Or
it's an
like you
actual
don't know
because I said
why.
so moment. Yeah, I know.
Like,
But why?
why did the grass do
So,
that? I don't know. Okay.
no,
The
I don't know,
wind.
bro, because it just did. Okay.
Yeah.
So his newest thing is, why do I have to wear my seatbelt? Like, why do you have to buckle me in? I don't want to be buckled. Why do you have to buckle me in? And so I tell him, well, we have to buckle you into your car seat because it keeps you safe in case we get into a car crash or something happens. Like, this is going to help keep you safe and prevent you from getting hurt. And then he'll like repeat it. He'll say car crash or something like that. That he'll repeat, like he's processing it. And then he says, okay. And then I buckle him in. And so yesterday we were driving back from Seoul from one of Ella's photo shoots. And I like ran inside to pick up Mickey D's. I know it's so bad for you. Don't judge me, but this is like our guilty routine pleasure when we go to Seoul. So I ran in, grabbed my to carry out order really quick, jumped back in the car and started driving because in Seoul traffic, if you know, you know, like you
That's
don't
so
have time to just get your life together. And I forgot to put my seatbelt back on. And about 5 minutes into driving, I just wasn't thinking about it. And Declan says, Mommy, put your seatbelt on. Mommy, you need to be safe if we get a car crash. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. But I was so proud of that moment because it was a moment of showing he's listening. He's listening
Mhm.
to what I'm saying and he's retaining what I'm saying. And there's nothing like being called out by a 2-year-old that you weren't wearing your seatbelt. And the other example of him just modeling and listening was from last week. I have been struggling trying to learn how to help him regulate his emotions because he's like his mother. He feels things very extremely. And he's hot, he's cold, he's yes, he's no, he's inept. You're like, that's not what it is. But I've been struggling trying to get him to regulate his emotions because he can reason somewhat, but not fully reason yet, right? So you can't logic him through something. So one of the things I've been doing for myself when I'm getting overwhelmed is I've just said, Mommy just needs a timeout right now. Mommy just needs a timeout. Mommy's really stressed. Mommy's really overwhelmed. Whatever. Mommy just needs to go take a second. Do I usually ever get a second? No, absolutely not. He follows me. And then he's like, but why? But why? But why? But I'll just keep repeating it. And then I'll sit down on the bed or whatever and just take a moment to breathe. And the other day, oh my gosh, this was so cute. I'm like reliving it in my head. Ella took his gummy snack and ate the last gummy snack out of the snack pack. And yeah, I am in the yard cleaning up after our dogs. And all of a sudden I hear, and I'm like, what happened? And he says, Sissy ate my gummies. Thought the world was going to end. And then next thing I know, I hear him go, I need to take a dog out. I go inside. And sure enough, homie took himself inside and sat on the floor and grabbed one of his toy cars or something as he's still crying to go take his time out. And then I came inside and I was like, are you doing okay? He said, yeah, I just need to take a time out. And I was like, okay, it's okay to need to take a time out sometime, but I'm glad you're doing better. And that was just a moment of like,
Oh my
hey
God.
man, I'm doing something right. Let me tell you, I am doing something right here in the Carter household. And
I
I'm
love
just,
that.
I need to. It was so cute. I can literally see it, and him running off with this little toddler feet to go inside and throw himself on the floor. But you know, I do that too sometimes. It's just not as cute when I do it.
Yeah.
He's gonna be such an emotionally regulated adult, which is like the goal. That's goals. Doing
I hope
it.
so, because I still struggle regulating myself.
Same.
So I'm like, you're
Same.
doing better than I am, bro, and you're too. Like, go you for being able to say
That's the
that.
point. That's the whole point, is to,
Yeah.
do better, make it better.
Yeah.
The whole point.
That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's do Alyssa. Let's talk about your epic momtroversial moment.
Mine was so funny. For reference, Reagan, she hasn't been around a lot of women that work just because we hang out with my friends. Yeah. And in Korea, not a lot of people work. And, when we're hanging out with people, it's usually during the day and they don't work. The moms don't work. And so we're sitting at dinner the other night and she looks at my mom who works for our church. She goes, Nana, why you go to work if you have a husband? And we died. I was like, well, all Nana's kids are grown up and she doesn't have any kids to take care of anymore, so she goes to work. She was like, huh, okay. But it was so funny. Why do you go to work if you don't have a husband? Or why do you go to work if you have a husband? Great question. Because I do tell them all the time, I'm like, Daddy's at work because so that like we can go do these fun things. Like that's why Daddy goes to work. But I never like connected it to I don't go to work because Daddy goes to work. So it was just hilarious
all
that she
together
made it.
over all.
Yeah. Yeah. So funny.
I freaking love her. She's so smart, dude.
She is.
That cracks
It's
me
so
up.
Putting it all together. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of struggled with the momtroversial moment, but I just thought of one. It's actually kind of funny. So, everyone who's been listening to us for some time or knows me in person knows I'm a huge stickler for ingredients and food dyes. Um, and my husband's not as much of a stickler about it. He is, but I'm the heavy. Okay, I'm the enforcer. And he's like, a little bit's fine. I don't agree, but he's the dad and we have to compromise sometimes. Well, I was in the other room and Johnny comes running in and he's like, Mom, Mom, Hannah just drank dyes and Dad gave it to her. And they're so bad for your body, Mom. You like this happened. Like he just needed me to know that Hannah had bad dyes. For everyone listening, she had a drink of Gatorade, a blue Gatorade,
I'm
Is
dead.
it something I would have chosen? No. But am I gonna trip about it? Also, no. It's a drink of Gatorade. It's fine. But he's like, "It's gonna make Hannah sick. It's bad for her body." Like, he was all like it was like half telling, but half, like, concerned. Like, he was actually concerned
Oh,
for her that she was gonna be, like, sick about it, and he was absolutely telling on his dad that he condoned this, and I thought it was so freaking cute and funny, and I felt good about it because I was like, "You know what? When I was a kid, I had no idea what dyes were. I had no
yeah.
idea. I thought blue Gatorade was meant to look like that. I never questioned it, and so the fact that he knows by just looking at that bottle that it's bad for his body, like, cool. I can't say my work here is done, but she's been pretty good. It's looking
You're doing a good job.
You go, girl.
Thank you.
Ugh, I freaking love the nature of little people tattling on each other only when it's convenient for them.
Oh, yeah.
Only when it's
Oh, yeah.
convenient for them. That is so funny. Well, everyone, thank you for catching up with us and unpacking the wildness that is motherhood in our lives in this season. If you don't already, follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Momtroversial Podcast. And if you guys have any topics that you would love to hear us discussed here on this podcast, we would love for you to send us a DM or slide onto the socials. And until next time, keep it real and keep it Momtroversial.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.